Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying this: the moment you feel the urge to defend yourself, you've already lost control of the conversation and, more importantly, your power. Stop, just stop. Most people think defending themselves shows strength, shows credibility, or proves a point. But the truth is, defending yourself is often the signal that you are reacting, not leading. When you defend, you are responding to someone else's narrative, their assumptions, their doubts, their judgments. And let me tell you something: your energy is far too valuable to be spent justifying yourself to people who aren't willing to understand. Here's the reality: life is full of opinions, criticisms, and challenges. People will misunderstand your vision, question your decisions, and even try to put you in a corner. But defending yourself doesn't change their perception. It only validates that their opinion has power over your peace. The secret of the high performers, the ones who achieve wealth, influence, and lasting impact, is that they never waste their energy on proving themselves. Instead, they focus on their results, their impact, and their actions. Think about it. Results speak louder than words. When you deliver at a high level, there's no need to defend. People either recognize it or they don't, and that's their issue, not yours. Stop reacting, start leading. This is the fundamental principle that separates those who live their lives on autopilot, constantly at the mercy of opinions and circumstances, from those who command their destiny and move with purpose. When you feel the urge to defend yourself, recognize it immediately as a signal that you are allowing someone else's energy, someone else's perception, to hijack your focus. And let me tell you something: reacting gives them power over you that they don't deserve. Every time you justify yourself to someone who doubts or criticizes, you are stepping into their story. You are living in their narrative. And you are losing the momentum of your own journey. The most effective leaders, the ones who make history, understand this instinctively. They don't waste a second defending, explaining, or trying to prove themselves to people who aren't aligned with their vision. Think about this: life will constantly present you with people who misunderstand your intentions, who question your choices, and who try to corner you with their opinions. When you react to them, you are responding emotionally, and emotions cloud clarity. You lose sight of the bigger picture. You let temporary triggers dictate your decisions, your confidence, and your energy. Stop it. Stop letting someone else's doubt dictate your movement. Leaders act from a place of certainty. They act from principle. They act from their purpose. And the beauty of it is that when you stop defending yourself, you create an invisible armor. People might challenge you, they might question you, but you remain unmoved, unshaken, and unstoppable. Here's a powerful truth: defending yourself is often an unconscious admission that their opinion has weight over your life. You are giving their judgment credibility in your mind. And that credibility comes at a cost: your focus, your mental energy, and your peace of mind. Instead of reacting, shift your mindset from defense to action. Ask yourself, what can I do right now that moves me closer to my vision? Leaders don't argue, they deliver. Leaders don't explain, they perform. Leaders don't waste energy on proving people wrong. They create results so undeniable that explanation becomes irrelevant. Let me hit you with this hook: the urge to defend yourself is a trap disguised as a challenge. It feels urgent, it feels necessary, but it is actually a thief of your potential. Every minute you spend trying to justify your decisions is a minute taken away from building your legacy, growing your influence, or creating wealth. High performers understand that the true battlefield is not in arguments, it is in action. They understand that reaction is weakness disguised as engagement. To stop defending yourself is to reclaim control, to move from reactive to proactive, and to operate from a place of authority where your words and actions are aligned with your vision. Now imagine a life where every attack, every criticism, every doubter becomes irrelevant because your focus is unbreakable. Imagine the freedom that comes when you refuse to play the game of defending yourself. You begin to move with intention, clarity, and confidence. Your energy is no longer scattered. It becomes concentrated on creating, producing, and influencing at the highest level. Every successful person you admire, every entrepreneur, every leader, every icon understands this principle. They don't explain, they excel. They don't react, they lead. They don't defend, they dominate. So pay attention to that inner urge to defend, to justify, to explain, and recognize it for what it is: diversion, a drain on your power, and a thief of your focus. Stop reacting and start leading. Start leading in every interaction, every decision, and every situation. Your time, your energy, and your influence are too valuable to hand them over to someone else's narrative. Lead with clarity, lead with conviction, lead with results. When you do, you step into a realm where the noise of criticism cannot touch you, and your path forward becomes unstoppable. Results speak louder than words. Let me tell you something that most people don't understand. No amount of explanation, no amount of defense, no amount of persuasion can substitute for undeniable results. You can argue, justify, or rationalize all day long, but until your actions produce outcomes that cannot be ignored, your words are just noise. The world doesn't reward explanations, it rewards results. And here's the kicker. The people who achieve extraordinary success know this instinctively. They understand that talking about what they will do is weak. Producing what they say they will do is power. When you focus on results rather than defending yourself, you step into a level of authority and credibility that cannot be challenged. People can doubt your intentions, question your strategy, or criticize your approach, but results are irrefutable. Results create momentum. Results command respect. Results open doors that words could never unlock. And here's the truth. Every time you try to defend yourself, you are essentially saying to the world that your results aren't enough. Stop undermining your own authority by over-explaining. Let your performance speak, let your achievements shine, and let your impact be so tangible that people have no choice but to recognize it. Here's a hook. Every successful person you admire, every entrepreneur who built an empire, every leader who changed the game, none of them spent their time justifying their decisions. They spent their time producing results. They spent their energy executing, creating, innovating, and building. Words without action are empty. Ideas without execution are meaningless. The only language that commands attention and respect is results. If you want to silence critics, outshine doubters, and elevate your influence, you have to shift your focus from defense to production. Think about it. When you are results-driven, you are untouchable. Criticism loses its power because your success cannot be argued against. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Your work convinces them. Every deal you close, every problem you solve, every project you complete, and every goal you achieve becomes your voice. Let your performance speak so loudly that even the harshest skeptics are forced to acknowledge your excellence. When you deliver results consistently, you no longer live in a world of defending your choices. You live in a world of commanding influence. Let me hit you with another hook. Defending yourself is a trap that keeps you focused on the wrong battlefield. You're fighting in someone else's arena, at their pace, on their terms. Results, however, shift the battlefield entirely. When you produce undeniable outcomes, you define the terms, you set the standard, and you control the narrative. People may talk, they may speculate, but they may criticize, but they cannot dispute what you have created. Success does not ask for permission, approval, or validation. It is a language everyone understands, and it is a language that elevates you above the noise. Now, ask yourself this: are you spending more energy defending your actions, explaining your decisions, or proving yourself to others? Or are you investing that energy in delivering measurable, impactful, and transformative results? The choice is clear. If you want to move from ordinary to extraordinary, from reactive to proactive, from being doubted to being respected, then results must be your focus. Stop talking, start doing. Stop defending, start producing, stop explaining, start achieving. The world doesn't need more arguments. It needs more action, more excellence, and more tangible proof that you are capable of extraordinary impact. Defending yourself gives away your power. This is a truth that most people fail to grasp because they think defending themselves is a sign of strength or confidence. But in reality, it is one of the fastest ways to surrender your influence and control. Every time you argue, explain, or justify your actions, you are handing over your mental, emotional, and spiritual energy to someone else. You are placing their opinion above your purpose, and that is exactly what keeps most people small, stuck, and frustrated. Powerful individuals understand that their energy is their most valuable asset, and they guard it fiercely. They refuse to engage in battles that drain them or elevate others at their expense. Let me give you a hook. When you feel the pull to defend yourself, recognize it as a sign that someone else is trying to dictate the narrative of your life. They are attempting to influence your emotions, your thoughts, and your decisions. If you take the bait, you are no longer the captain of your ship. You are a passenger on someone else's agenda. And let me tell you, life is too short, and your potential is too great to allow that to happen. True power is exercised in restraint, in silence, and in measured action. Leaders don't give away their energy by defending themselves. They preserve it for creating results, building influence, and elevating their vision. Think about the people you admire most, those who have achieved remarkable success. None of them spent their days defending their choices or explaining why they did what they did. They understood that defending themselves only fuels the critics and gives them the control they are seeking. Instead, they operate from a place of certainty, unwavering confidence, and a commitment to their goals. Their focus is on growth, on impact, and on generating outcomes that cannot be ignored. By refusing to defend themselves, they maintain authority over their energy, their focus, and ultimately their destiny. Here's a powerful hook. Defending yourself is not an act of courage. It is an act of submission. It signals to others that their perception matters more than your purpose. The moment you stop defending yourself, you reclaim your energy, you reclaim your focus, and you reclaim your power. Imagine what you could achieve if every ounce of energy you previously spent trying to justify your actions was redirected into creating results, expanding your influence, and building your legacy. That is the level of control and freedom that comes from refusing to defend yourself. When you operate from this mindset, critics and doubters become irrelevant. Their words may try to shake you, but your power is rooted in your actions, your results, and your clarity of purpose. You are no longer vulnerable to manipulation because your authority is not dependent on anyone's approval. You are anchored in your own vision, and that makes you unstoppable. Let me hit you with another hook: energy follows focus. If your focus is consumed with defending yourself, you are disempowered. If your focus is on creating, performing, and delivering results, you are empowered beyond measure. Every time you feel that urge to explain, to justify, or to prove yourself, remind yourself that your power is not in defending. It is in executing. Your credibility is built by action, not argument. Your influence is expanded by results, not explanations. Your freedom is maintained by choosing where to invest your energy wisely. Defending yourself may feel like control, but it is actually surrender. Power is preserved when you refuse to react to criticism and instead direct your energy toward meaningful action. When you understand this, you stop being a participant in other people's stories and start authoring your own unshakable narrative that commands respect and inspires others. Energy is your most valuable asset, and how you manage it determines the level of success you achieve in life. Every day, people are giving away their energy without even realizing it, reacting to criticism, defending themselves, or trying to prove their worth to those who are unwilling to understand. Let me tell you something: your energy is finite, and every second you spend justifying yourself, arguing with someone, or defending a decision that only you fully understand is energy stolen from your future. When you learn to protect your energy, you not only preserve your focus, but you also unlock the ability to perform at a higher level, think more clearly, and create outcomes that others only dream about. Here's a hook: defending yourself is like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. It seems productive in the moment, but in reality, it accomplishes nothing and leaves you drained. The successful don't argue with opinions, they invest in results. They understand that time, focus, and energy are the currency of progress, and every moment spent on defense is a moment diverted from building wealth, influence, and impact. If you want to live a life of power, freedom, and achievement, you must treat your energy as sacred. Guard it, protect it, and invest it wisely. Think about it. Every conversation, every interaction, every challenge presents a choice. You can either expend your energy trying to convince others of your value or redirect it into actions that produce undeniable results. The choice is clear. The difference between those who succeed at a high level and those who remain average is not talent, luck, or circumstance. It is the ability to manage energy effectively. High performers focus on creation, not explanation. They act on opportunities instead of reacting to opinions. They build empires while others waste hours defending themselves. The way you choose to spend your energy determines whether you dominate your life or let life dominate you. Let me hit you with a hook. Defending yourself is a trap that keeps you small, scattered, and reactive. When you invest energy in justifying your actions, you give power to the critics, the doubters, and the naysayers. You allow their opinions to dictate your emotions, your focus, and your decisions. But when you redirect that energy toward creation, toward growth, toward excellence, you step into a level of productivity and influence that is untouchable. Energy follows focus, and where your focus goes, your results will follow. Protect your energy, focus it on your vision, and watch the world bend to your momentum. Imagine a life where no one's doubt, criticism, or misunderstanding can drain you. Imagine being so laser focused on producing results that external noise becomes irrelevant. That is the power of energy mastery. Every minute you spend on defense is a minute lost in creating, innovating, and executing. Every argument you engage in pulls you away from your potential and anchors you in someone else's narrative. The most powerful people in the world understand this principle intuitively. They don't argue, they don't explain, They don't defend. They conserve their energy for impact, influence, and legacy. Here's another hook. When you treat your energy as your most valuable asset, you reclaim control over your life. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. You move with intention, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. Protecting your energy allows you to make decisions from power, not from fear. It allows you to focus on what matters, execute without distraction, and produce results that speak louder than any argument could. Energy is the foundation of your performance, the fuel of your results, and the secret weapon of high achievers. When you stop defending and start investing your energy in what truly matters, you step into a life of freedom, influence, and unstoppable achievement. Let your actions define you. This principle is the cornerstone of personal power and lasting influence. Too many people spend their lives trying to convince others of their worth, trying to explain decisions, or defending choices that only they fully understand. And in the process, they dilute their energy, weaken their focus, and hand over their authority to those who don't deserve it. True power is never found in words, it is found in actions. Your character, your integrity, and the results you produce speak volumes in ways that explanations never can. The people who achieve extraordinary success understand this. They do not argue, they execute. They do not defend, they deliver. They let their performance be the story that cannot be disputed. Here's a hook. Every time you feel compelled to explain or justify yourself, recognize it as a signal that you are moving energy away from creation and toward distraction. It is a trap that keeps you reactive, scattered, and ultimately powerless. The most influential people, those who command respect and generate impact at the highest level, understand that actions communicate authority in a way that words never will. When you focus on doing rather than defending, you position yourself above the noise. Your credibility is built on results, not explanations. Your influence expands through consistency, not debate. Your legacy is written by your accomplishments, not your justifications. Think about the power of silence paired with decisive action. There is nothing more compelling than someone who moves with purpose, acts with integrity, and produces results consistently. Words can be challenged, but results cannot. Opinions can be ignored, but performance demands attention. And here's the hook: when your actions define you, you no longer live at the mercy of criticism, doubt, or misunderstanding. Your life, your vision, and your impact are anchored in tangible achievements. And that is a position of unshakable power. People may talk, they may speculate, they may doubt, but they cannot take away what you have created. Every great leader, entrepreneur, and high performer understands this principle intimately. They do not waste their time defending decisions or justifying outcomes because they know that energy is too precious. Every second spent on explanation is a second stolen from creation. Every moment spent defending your choices is a moment diverted from building influence, generating wealth, or impacting lives. Let your actions speak louder than any argument, louder than any criticism, and louder than any doubt. Execution is the universal language of success, and mastery of action sets you apart from mediocrity. Here's another hook. The world is littered with people who talk about what they will do, who defend why they should be respected, who explain why they are right. But results, measurable, undeniable, transformative results, are the currency that separates winners from participants. When you shift your focus entirely to action, you not only gain respect, you command it. You move with authority because your life is a living testimony to your principles, your integrity, and your dedication. Your influence expands naturally because people are drawn to those who do more than they say. The power of letting your actions define you is that it liberates you from the need for validation, from the trap of constant defense, and from the draining cycle of explanation. It empowers you to operate from certainty rather than reaction, from vision rather than fear, and from strength rather than insecurity. Every move you make, every decision you implement, every result you achieve reinforces your authority and builds momentum in ways that words alone never could. The more you act, the more you dominate, the more you influence, and the more you inspire others to rise to your level. This is the ultimate principle of success. Stop defending, stop explaining, and start living through action. So today, I challenge you, never defend yourself again. Let your results speak. Let your integrity shine. Let your actions do the explaining. The world doesn't need your explanations. It needs your excellence. Master this and watch doors open that words could never unlock. Stop reacting. Start dominating. Stop explaining. Start performing. And when you live by this principle, you are no longer a participant in someone else's story. You become the author of your own life.